Is it still vegan if like the crab attacked you? Like if you were attacked by an animal and you ate it just to win? I think that's ethical.
Self-defense.
Yeah, I ate that lobster in self-defense. I threw him in that hot bowl because he was gonna get me.
I knew it. He was plotting.
He was any second now. He was gonna come at me.
Honeys, we're home.
Hello, and welcome to Sinclarity, a dinosaur's tale. I am your host. We're gonna need another Timmy, along with my co-host.
What's up? Open up this fucking pit. Cincinnati, Ohio. What the fuck is up? Neither of us are there. Hello, I'm Ben Hand Up Me.
This isn't a Denny's. What are you doing?
What the fuck is up, Denny's?
And, yes.
It's a real grand slam of an intro.
Lord, so today we're on episode 44 of this podcast where we talk about the show from the 90s, Dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, you know, well, this is like we're 3 seasons in, episode 8 of season 3 today, and It might sound a little different because I'm editing this one, I believe, because Zach's out of town, so I got to figure all that out.
Oh wow, he's so hoity-toity. Yeah,
exactly. He goes on vacations.
Yeah,
fucking really cool. But Zach's our producer. He sucks. But today
this episode's about him, licensed to parent.
Yeah, because he's the parent of the podcast. He's the podcast daddy.
It would have been funny to have him on this episode.
That's true. He could have explained like the proper ways to corporally punish your children.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, today's episode is called License to Parent. It's from November 20th, 1992. And I feel like we're getting into this really fast, which is so weird. I'm used to like when we have a guest and we have to talk to them about stuff, and we just know each other.
We have to talk to them about stuff.
Yeah. Because we gotta get a gauge for how they feel about the show and how they feel about us and how they feel in general.
But there's no one there today.
Yeah, so if you want to tell us how you feel, you can email us at sinclaritypodcast@gmail.com, or you can catch us on the Twitters, the Instagrams at a dinosaur's tale.
Yeah, and don't forget to share the show with your friends.
Yeah, or your enemies.
That's fine.
Yeah, just write your senators. Send it to your senators.
They're all your enemies.
They're all your enemies, exactly. I am an AOC simp, and that is all. But yeah, this episode was written by Andy Goodman, who's written a slew of episodes in the past. He's the environmentalist bent for the show. And then it's directed, speaking of daddies, by Rachel Bilson's granddaddy, big old Bruce. Also a main player for this series so far. Him and Tom Trubovic pretty much handle most of it, or Turbovich. I already forgot the fucking pronunciation of that guy's name.
Yeah, they're like the main directors pretty much.
Yeah, I like to picture them like as like, which one do you think is the Danny DeVito twin and which one's the Arnold Schwarzenegger twin? Because I want to picture them like on the cover of that movie.
I feel like Bruce Bilson is like looks like Danny DeVito.
I bet he does. That's Bruce is a DeVito type name to me.
But Trubovic though, he's just a huge Greek dude. He's like huge. Like a god, a Greek god.
I don't think Terminator is Greek. I think he's Austrian, which I believe is like Roman in descent. But yeah,
it's very close to German too.
What is
Austrian?
Oh, it's the same guy. I don't think there's a difference really. So if you're in Germany right now listening to us, let us have some of your let us have some of your economy and healthcare, please. But if you're in Greece, please not give us any of your economy.
Yeah.
We have it.
Your history is pretty cool. Germany though, ooh.
Yeah, I'd rather hang out in any Greek vomitorium than go to Germany. You know what I mean? I don't know what I mean.
Bathhouse.
I learned that a vomitorium is just a big doorway. It's not a place you go to throw up after like engorging yourself. So I'm let down.
That is something that I would do with Greek food, is engorge myself with it.
I love gyros so much, and I haven't found a good place here for it yet. I love those like grape leaves wrapped around shit. I forget what it's called. That's just good.
Yeah. Like luckily for us, we're not too far from Tarpon Springs, which is like there's like a huge Greek community there, so there's good food all over the place, all over this county.
That's true with Cincinnati as well. Cincinnati chili is a Greek food, which is weird. But yeah, so speaking of tar pit springs, no, that's not what you said. Speaking of tar pits, we're discussing Dinosaurs License to Parent.
That's right.
And in this episode, when Earl loses his temper at the baby, he also loses his parenting license. When he flunks the test to get it back, the parenting police move into the house and monitor how Fran parents the kids by herself.
Yeah, we get Officer Turtlepuss here, and he's a real dick.
So the officers in this are Bettelheim and Brazelton, which are like notorious like child psychologists.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's the basis for the names. When I saw that they had such weird names that weren't dinosaur puns, I was like, I gotta look these up, and that's something I found out on my own. I should add it to IMDb because they did not tell me that. But another cool trivia for this one, other than the fact that Topanga Lawrence's dad, Michael McKean, is in this episode as Officer Bettelheim. One of her dad changes multiple times throughout Boy Meets World. But this episode also we get Aubrey and Baby Cuddle Bunny back as puppets.
Yes, he's back, folks. The best character in the show. Aubrey with his right father. He's with Molehill.
Yeah, he's with Gus, big old Gus. So that's pretty great.
Yeah. And of course, Baby Cuddle Bunny, which is not the pajamas. So
yeah, from Network Genius, the one we had Tim on for.
But Aubrey has a different voice actor, but I feel like Cuddle Bunny is the same voice actor. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure it's just somebody on staff.
Not the pajamas, something like that.
So if we have no catching up to do, I guess we can just get into this one.
Yeah. So we open with the cold open in the Sinclair house, and Fran is basically just giving a whole rundown of her day. To Earl,
of doing all the things that he should also be helping with.
Yeah, but Earl is ignoring her because he's looking at the owner's manual for his new LeSabre 2.
Yeah, which Fran does comment is just a bottom of the line like piece of shit car with like it's a fuel guzzler and it has no pickup or options and the bank owns it.
Yeah, and she even tries to like entice Earl by saying she's gonna dance naked.
So I don't think she was enticing him because I thought so at first, but then she said in the driveway. So she was just trying to catch if he was listening at all. But Baby was the one who was enticed by it. He's like, I want to get naked. Which happens multiple times in this episode.
Yeah.
We got a real naked baby episode out here today, folks.
Yeah, but so this is a cool debut, is that we get the car that I've been talking about.
Yeah, you mentioned. I mean, they've had a car before. We've just never seen it. Yeah, but now they get the new one.
Yeah,
which is important because Robbie has to take it on a spin, and Earl's like, "That's not what you do with a new car, son." Except Fran did just tell him she was taking it, and he just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, no way. So he's just like, "I'm the man. I get to drive." So. It puts her in the back with Baby in the like that scenario.
That had to be a weird staging setup. Like the car wasn't big enough to have them. They wouldn't have been able to see Baby at all if she would have been sitting in the. But in real life, no, the baby cannot be in the front seat, right? For a while.
Yeah, no. If he's in if your child is in like a car seat, it is not. It is suggested that you do not put them in the front seat.
Yeah,
ever.
and at that age, the baby should be rear facing as well, not front facing. So I'm gonna write my senators about this episode.
Yes,
car seats are wild. Car seats have expiration dates on them, so you can't eat them after a certain date, I guess.
Oh yeah, just like milk and eggs.
Yeah, it's you can get pulled over by the parenting police for real if you have an expired baby car seat.
Yeah. So while Earl's driving, Fran is explaining that baby gets really nervous when he goes to the doctor, so she wants to give him like a cupcake. And Earl's like, "No way are you letting this baby eat a cupcake in my new car."
Yeah, he tells the baby if he gets a crumb anywhere, he's gonna have him crawl home.
So,
which I'd like to see them pull off that cinematography.
Yeah, it would just be like that one shot of Robbie running really fast.
Yeah, just a green screen behind moving, like,
and so he's like, if you get one crumb, he's like, I'm gonna freak out, and because it's baby, he's gonna fucking antagonize his dad because he loves it. So he gets a crumb. Earl all of a sudden just like is down under the dashboard looking for the crumb, and like they almost hit Gary apparently when they're driving.
Is that was just a giant dinosaur?
Yeah, it was. I think that's what it was supposed to be, because Fran's just like, we almost got us squished. And like Earl does not care.
The scales and proportions for these dinosaurs never make sense to me.
Yeah,
but yeah, Earl's okay with risking damaging his car by totaling it, but he's like, not any fucking crumbs on the inside.
Yeah, and then he just eats it, which makes baby cry, and apparently he cries loud enough that the parent patrol police officer can hear him.
Yeah, because after like he pulls him over for yelling at the baby, and then we get the theme song real quick before we get to continue with that experience with all the sound effects and everything within the theme.
Yeah, so we come back and he's getting pulled over, and Earl is just kind of like takes it as like a joke, like he's just like,
he says he's not a real cop or whatever, it's just the parent patrol.
Yeah, and but like immediately he tries to bribe the cops like he always does.
It worked the last time, so you'd assume it'd work again. But I guess this guy isn't a real cop if he's not going to accept the bribe.
Yeah, he's with the parent police, like the Pangea parent police.
So he gets a citation first for yelling at the baby, and then he gets like another strike for the bribe. And then strike 3, which gets his license revoked until pending a test, is when baby rats on him for taking his cupcake and eating it in front of him.
Yeah, because the baby loves it. He just loves to fucking stir shit.
What I also like about this scene is Earl says "smoo" during this scene.
Does he?
Yeah. When he gets the second strike or third strike, I don't remember what he goes, "Oh, smoo." I was like, oh, they're keeping it alive.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
I didn't expect that. But so we cut to a scene after the bribe doesn't work and he gets his license taken away. And Earl's like at this office with other shit dads.
Yeah.
They're all dads, which I'd like to point out that it's all dads who got cited.
Yeah, there are no mothers. They're getting their license
This
revoked.
is very realistic.
And this is when we get the Molehills. We get Gus, and it's Needle Nose, but it's not. Well, not Needle Nose. It's
I thought it was Needle Nose, actually. I could be wrong. It could be.
No, I think Needle Nose
Needle Nose is
Mel. It's Mel.
Yeah, it's a teacher's Needle Nose.
Yeah. So they're there with their kids, who are Aubrey with Gus, which makes sense. And you get Cuddle Bunny, who's with
who's like a baby parody that was made up at one point.
Yeah, because those are the only 3 baby puppets that they had around.
I like how the Mel Luster character, he's there because he forgot to change the baby's diaper for a week. Miss 1 week. Which is significantly worse than Earl's offense, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
That's permanent diaper rash forever. That's the worst.
Yeah, your baby could get really sick.
Yeah, that's bad. And that's coming from me. I sit in my own shit. Never mind. It's not a good joke. It's gross.
Yeah, so it's basically like a driving school class.
Yeah,
where they have different scenarios.
Driving Miss Baby.
Yeah, and so
baby
we get
driver.
the first baby driver.
That's the better joke. There
Boss baby driver. And today's episode is brought to you by Boss Baby 2.
Boss Baby 2, Boss Baby Driver.
And So they get like the first scenario, which is the baby spills milk.
Mhm.
So
The other dads are like have been studying. That's the thing that's brought up in the scene. They study their manuals, so they're like going by the book, so they're actually learning.
yeah, so Gus tells Aubrey that it's okay, and he just cleans it up for him.
Yeah,
And then
the other guy like gets the baby involved and has him help clean him up and says accents are okay or whatever.
yeah, and then Earl
He's cheating. He's like looking over the partition in between them while they're doing.
yeah, he's looking at it, and then he spills it, and he goes like almost textbook like it's gonna be okay.
He's like, I love you, not in spite of your mistakes, but even for your mistakes. And like, he keeps looking at the instructor, like with this fake smile between each sentence.
Yeah. And then, so, baby, of course, wants to just be an ass. So he just fucking throws all the milk at her.
I think baby's reaction is fair because like to imagine Earl just fakes his way through and goes home and is still a shitty dad. It sucks for baby. He's gotta hold him to it.
Yeah, but then Earl goes full Homer and just strangling him.
He's gonna wring his neck.
Which we've never seen him do before.
Yeah,
so.
Never go full Homer. But so they get through. There's like a sign for like the different things, the scenarios, the situations they're playing, simulations. There's the baby spills the milk, baby swallows family pet, colors on the wall, and then they're on the fourth one, which is baby going to the doctor.
Yeah, and
get a scary shot.
Yeah, so we got Needle Nose is he's pretending to be the doctor, and baby's like freaking out. And does he do
what?
I can't.
What Earl does during what Earl starts telling him what will happen if he doesn't get his vaccine.
That's right. Yeah.
He essentially threatens him with like the disease outcomes he'll have and he'll die or whatever. And baby's just like, ah.
Yeah. Instead of bribing him with free beer or whatever, he just scares him into getting his vaccine.
Vaccine lottery for the baby.
and then we get like the next panel. It's just like first day of school. Kid swallows teacher, like
and then dealing with the imaginary friend.
Yeah, which is the funniest one because it just cuts to
Earl has like a fake Tommy gun and it's he's like, what? The baby said he scared him.
Yeah, baby's like freaking out. He's like, he killed what was the name? It was like Snooki or something.
It was Jeff Bezos.
You killed Jeff Bezos.
Congratulations.
You ruined Pride Day.
You ruined Pride Month forever. But so the head of the class, the teacher, says he was going to take away points from Earl if he had any to take away. And Earl's like, oh shit, points are good. I thought this was whose line.
Yeah, he was doing a good improv with his Tommy gun.
Yeah, that's true. That's the main, like the big thing in improv is like be bad at it is just pull out a gun in every scene. So Earl would be that guy, like somebody's like trying to conduct a scene, like, oh, we're at the grocery store. He's like, I've got a gun.
Get down. I got a gun.
We're not for you. We're on our first date. No, we're not. We're at the mall, and I've got a gun. Earl would be great in an improv class.
Yeah. So he gets his license suspended
for 30 days, which is fair, honestly.
Yeah, and he's basically told that he can't parent for 30 days, which is great.
What's weird about this is they still keep just leaving him alone with the kids, though. Like,
well, I mean, I think that's the joke, is that his parent license is revoked, but he still has to live with these children. Yeah,
they're roommates now.
Yeah,
that's my roommate, not the mama.
Yeah.
But, so Earl tries to keep parenting still by being mean to Robbie. Essentially, he says he loves his kid. Then Robbie walks up. He's like, "Shut up."
Yeah, and then we see that like Officer Turtlepuss is just there, like he's at their house.
Yeah, he just hangs out there now.
Yeah, and tries to catch them doing stuff.
His wife calls him honey. His kids call him daddy. It's just what happens in the show. But yeah, so Fran decides to let Robbie drive as long as she goes along with, which is like a good way to handle it. But what's funny to me is like, okay, he's not their parent anymore. it's still his car, I think. Like, wouldn't he still be like, you can't just steal my car just because I'm not a dad?
Well, Fran goes with him, so.
Well, yeah, but Fran's like, I mean, it's his car though. Like, it should be up to him.
Yeah.
But like, he should also have done what Fran did and taught his son how to drive and gone with him and shit. Like, but
maybe
I don't
if
know.
someone would have went with him, we won't get the result that we get later in the episode.
Yeah. I just think Earl is getting what he deserves for the most part throughout this part of the episode. Like, he really does need somebody to step in and like get his shit together. He would easily leave baby for a week in a diaper if like Fran wasn't around.
Well, yeah, remember we
had a whole
watched the
episode about
episode when he was mother and father.
Brian, or that one too. I was thinking about the one where baby runs away because of the diaper situation.
Yeah.
The mother
potty
father.
training,
Yeah. But so Earl's now studying the manual though, because he wants to like be able to pass the test or whatever, but baby keeps like interrupting him and being annoying on purpose.
Yeah, he's just trying to get him mad.
Which at this point I thought he was just home alone with the baby. I'm like, he's not allowed to parent. Why do they keep doing this? Like, why is Fran not paying attention to this?
But as soon as Earl says something, baby is quick to just be like, help, police.
He calls the cops right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Earl's not allowed to parent, so the baby gets naked. And then Fran finally comes in and like, you know, tells the baby he doesn't have to take his nap right away if he doesn't want to. He can wait 30 minutes. And Earl's now, because now he essentially, the manual is like the car manual, like he likes reading it, because now he's realizing he can use it to like be rude to Fran. Essentially,
Exactly.
That's the only reason he likes it, is because he can correct people.
Yeah, and Fran is like, she's basically using the same lines as Earl though. Like, it's like, I've been a parent for 15 years.
But
like,
she actually has been, is the difference.
Yeah.
He watched with interest, as he has said himself.
Yeah. But so Earl calls her out for like caving to the baby, basically.
Yeah.
And then immediately Turtlepus is right there, just like,
Yeah, because
you
he's
think
just
that's
fucking there
funny?
now. He accuses her of thinking everything's a joke. He gives her a citation. And then another one occurs with the whole like Robbie and Charlene is this like, okay, what? Oh, the Robbie the TV thing happens. That's what I was trying to remember, because I took very scant notes this time. I usually am very
he's watching kung fu movies with Earl, and Fran come in. She's like, I thought I said that like you can't watch TV until you do your homework. And Robbie's like, what does it matter when I do it? It's gonna get done.
Yeah, which there is like to some like, this is probably something they could work out, like because Robbie is a reliable student, but so they probably could, as long as it is going to get done, maybe like they could like let him set the schedule, which is what Earl suggests from the book, is like you have to give them choices for them to know how to make choices or whatever.
Yeah, this is when Issa chimed in about choices.
Oh, what do Issa have to say about it?
What did you want to say, Issa?
Responsibility.
About responsibility.
What's that? Responsibility? Not quite yet.
It's offering choice.
Offering choice, Issa, but what were you saying?
So when you're doing behavior modification with children, specifically with children
Dr.
that have behavior issues, generally you offer choice.
Mhm.
And it's not just choice of doing whatever the fuck you want. Like, okay, Robbie, stay up however fucking late you want. You can watch TV. That's your choice, which is a choice, which is going to have a negative consequence in the long run, because then he won't fucking make it through school, which here nor there. But like, I think this is kind of what that manual was getting at. It's you do offer children's choice, but those choices are often limited between first you do this, then you get this, or here's the choice of you can do math work right now versus science work right now.
Yeah.
And it does offer them autonomy, but also and lets them establish their own routines in that sense, but not giving up authority to a child who's going to be.
Issa can't hear me, so I can't.
So,
add to this.
as an expert working with bratty children,
Yeah,
that was
it's
my
good
thought of it.
yeah, it's good to like create the structure within they can succeed with their choices. Like it's like you can't just be like you can just choose to do whatever the fuck you want and then you're gonna drop out of school and have a hard time doing things. Whereas if you're like here, like if you can prove that you know how these choices work out for you in the long run, like if you can make the choice of like, yeah, maybe you can get this 30 minutes of TV, and especially back when you had to tune into your program at the specific time, like you didn't have
Had to.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Like that would, but still, like that is like he would miss it. But like if he is like proving that he gets his homework done and doesn't stay up late and lose sleep because of it, and like doesn't suffer any consequences, like he's like learning how to create a schedule and learning how that can benefit him in different ways.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because it does follow, like some of what is there does follow like what, at least in the 90s too, what we knew of behavior modification in children. And like, you know, it's probably based on some set, you know, loosely based on like Erickson's hierarchy or Erickson's stages of development or whatever. In which, because they talk about how infants need structure, whereas teenagers need choice, which is true when you're looking at, okay, what, like, are you looking at as far as like hierarchy of needs and where you fall into society, what you're learning your role is, and blah, 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 blah.
Well, also, if these are the same teenagers that already benefited earlier in life from the structure, like, because they would have had to still have had that foundation to begin with, or else they probably wouldn't have the ability still to make the right choices. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
I have a small brain still.
I mean, right?
Also, it's funny because Ben found this by looking up, but the two
I was gonna tell you to tell her that.
Yeah, the two police officers in the show are named after two
child psychologists.
Wait, what were their names?
It was
Brazelton and Bettelheim.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I this wasn't like a trivia thing on IMDb. Their names weren't dinosaur puns and they were weird. I was like, these have to be like psychologists, and I looked them up. But they're controversial ones, but they are child psychologists.
Yeah, those aren't really people we focus on as far as like the history.
Yeah.
Especially in child psychology and things like that. Usually it's just like,
I studied under Hank Hill.
You know.
Whoa.
He's a pretty good one. He's a good parenting role model.
Yeah, he has a book called When the Boy Ain't Right, like parenting guide. When the Boy Ain't Right.
I would read that.
I tell you what.
I would give that to parents to read.
That'd be great. Hank's an example of a parent that learns throughout the series to be a better parent, but starts off kind of rough.
Yeah. I think that's the point, is that you learn to enjoy him, like appreciate that he's learning.
Yeah. And they got better at
by doing
the more nuanced character over time. Because originally he was just supposed to be this basic Texas suburban dad.
Yeah. Whereas Earl's just a piece of shit forever.
Yeah.
But he read the manual, I guess.
It's just he never ends up better in the next episode, which is why it's so annoying, because like he did deserve to deal with this. This should be like something that's happening to him, but he doesn't learn anything.
I will say though, like the point when he comes, and this is backtracking, but when he comes in the house and just like throws the manual in the garbage, I was like, oh no. So many parents that I interact with probably do that, because I don't have kids of my own, and here I am giving them like advice on raising their little shit child.
You're Officer Turtlepuss.
We get that. Yeah, we're not there yet.
I know, but like generally that's what people do when you it's almost like an accusation of, you're a terrible parent, so here, read this stuff from written by people who are experts in parenting but probably don't actually have kids of their own.
Well, if they had kids, they wouldn't have time to write the book.
Exactly. So yeah, they throw all that shit out. Like I have so many parents I tell the same things to over and over again, and I create plans with them and everything like that. And it's just like, well, they don't have to deal with their kids for 8 hours because I'm with them. So like,
so here's my idea. for to instill confidence in them. Dress Tim up as a baby, say it's your son, bring him to school with you, and be like, see, I have firsthand experience.
And I would act bad on purpose. I'd be like Baby Sinclair.
Oh no, you can't be any worse than the kids I work with. Baby Sinclair just reminds me of all those children.
That's why they don't like him.
But that's why, that's why.
Tim would be like the episode of Rugrats where Stu hits his head and thinks he's a baby and is like walking around in a big like makeshift diaper.
You know what?
I'm
My
gonna make
kids
some
would probably
pudding.
love him though, is the thing, because he doesn't know really how to interact with children. So,
Why-
but they have all the same interest. So
That's-
they would probably really enjoy him. Sometimes they tell me things. I'm like, okay, I gotta ask Tim about this later because I don't fucking know what it is, but it has something
Ninjago.
to do with Pokemon. Yeah,
Ninjago.
that I don't. I only had one kid that enjoyed Ninjago. I think that phase has come and gone, but it's just like things like that. No, the kids I work with probably would really like him, but
Yeah.
people are often surprised when they find out like the type of children I work with, and it like curse people out and even myself out like all the time and throw
See,
chairs at me.
I would be bad though, because I would think that's funny.
Well, it is funny, but you can't laugh in front of them when that shit happens.
I
I
know.
would laugh so hard if they started cursing at each other.
If a kid threw a chair, Tim would just be like, "World Star," and pull out his phone.
That's the problem. Like you can't
Rob
do
Van
that.
Dam. That's what.
Like sometimes
Yeah.
I want to, although someone I do work with, this is just a tangent, but one of the kids,
We don't do this on this podcast.
I know, was like, we were in the classroom. It was me and the behavior specialist I work with went into a classroom to like lecture the kids because they were our worst classroom. Super externalized, just awful.
Mhm.
And she's like talking to them, and one of them is like, "Shut the fuck up!" And she's like, "You know what? How about you shut the F up?" And he got silent. It did not curse one more time after that. But like sometimes I'm just like, and that was the thing. Like after a while, that was just what we constantly said to each other, like behind closed doors. Is like, why don't you shut the F up? Because we can't, like, we have to keep a straight face when
what
things like that.
what I've
And
learned
working with these kids.
What I've learned is it's really fun to flip kids off, like all the time. Like whenever the kids ask me for anything, they're like, "Oh, do you have this or whatever?" I'll like reach in my pocket or reach behind something and just flip them off. And like they originally found it funny, and now they just roll their eyes like everyone else does when I do it to them.
Well, because now you've just done the dad joke equivalent of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been done too many times.
Before it was like a weird, I don't know the word for it, something that they didn't expect, and now they're just like, "Ah, fuck you." Why don't you shut the F up?
Why don't you shut the F up? But that is to say, like, those same type of kids do need some sort of choice in their life.
Mhm.
And to go back to I'm trying to bring it full circle. That is important, like in any child. Like even if like I had the kid who I would try to get to watch dinosaurs all the time, who happened to be autistic and 5. Like choice boards were a big thing we had to use with him to give him some sort of autonomy
Yeah,
and to also engage him in learning.
yeah.
The kid didn't learn a goddamn thing,
Well-
but he did become verbal. He went
Yeah.
from being nonverbal, trying to hurt people, and like the only verbalizations he did have at the beginning when was just like "fuck you" and
Mhm.
"asshole" and "motherfucker."
What a
And then it
badass.
was me every single day. Who loves you, Miss Nandeth? Because he can't say words right.
Nobody docs Isabella now that we have the full name.
No, I
Um,
mean it's been said here, like
yeah, that's true. That's true.
but just not
Timmy
strung
Hernandez.
together all together.
She said Nandez.
Nandeth.
You're right.
That's not-
And sometimes it
Yeah.
was Bernandez, and once I was Mr. Tim.
I think the thing that I would say to bring it back is like the reason for the whole like having them make choices as well is so they can understand the reasons that you make the choices you make for them, is that you're working together to create like a good life for everyone in the household. Because
That's true.
Because that's the
Yeah.
thing with like sometimes like that's why I'm always like when I'm talking to the kids about something, if they're like in trouble for something or anything, I'm fully explaining why everything is the way it is. I'm like, we're doing this because this is a cohesive environment. We're taking care of each other. And at your age, there are certain things that you need help with, like structurally. We need to tell you that this is your bedtime because you won't make that choice and you're going to have a hard time because of it.
Yeah, and that's kind of I saw that a little bit, like those positive. It's called positive parenting. Those positive parenting aspects, and like the opening when you have all of them together, and you know they're determining who's being a fit parent and what's his face, like sexual Harris and Aubrey. Like I was like, okay, that's okay. And then the second dad with the weird monkey face looking baby, like I was like,
Little bunny.
I hate that puppet.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I love you, Daddy.
I hate it so much.
It's Dizza.
I hate it so much. But like the approach that person took to cleaning up the mess and explaining like accidents happen and that's okay. I'm here to help you clean it. Things like that. That's a big part of positive parenting.
Yeah, he involved the baby in the cleaning process.
Yeah. And that's a really important thing, even when choice is given too.
Mhm.
So that's just my as a professional clinician who works with children and specializes with those who have behavioral disabilities and have to do what is it called? Psychoeducation. I should know these words for parents. Like this is a lot of things that I was like, oh, that's happening.
I'm writing you a ticket.
Psychoeducation is my.
I would be the
Christian
one
male
getting
role.
out the tickets.
Yes, you would be Officer Turtlepuss.
But thank you for joining us for that segment, which is why don't you shut the F up with Issa?
I want more of that.
Yeah, we'll bring you back for more segments in the future.
Okay.
Perfect.
So yeah, so yeah, so at this point, this is when everyone becomes unhinged, like with Fran.
Because Robbie wants to borrow the car, but doesn't want to have to drive wide load and her dippy friend to the mall. He's so mean to her in this episode. He also says she doesn't have a self-esteem or whatever. I'm like, she does, but you're trying to get rid of it, like actively.
Yeah, and so
And baby's unfolding all the clothes, so Fran's overwhelmed because she's the only parent. This is also the thing.
yeah, and she calls baby like a bad. She's just like, you're a bad boy.
Like he's a dog. Oh, that's funny.
Shoo, you're bad.
But yeah, the house is now like full chaos because of this, and Officer Bellheim charges in with a megaphone to suspend her license. He cucked the family.
Yeah, he becomes daddy now.
He reminds me of the cop in like was it Die Hard, who's like outside talking to him on the phone the whole time. He's like, I shot a kid, and he almost becomes that cop later, essentially. But yeah, so he shows up, he cucks the family, and he's now the one in charge, essentially. Because
he, much like his family be getting taken over by Ridgefield, he's now the daddy.
Yeah, he had to move. This is Turtlepuss and his many jobs, as we've discussed. Trying to make ends meet.
Yeah, so he becomes the father, and he gathers.
Look at me. I'm the father now.
he gathers all the kids in the room, and he's like, "All right, everyone, line up from left to right. We'll go left to right, and tell me how you feel."
He has like an unconventional family talk or something. I forget what he calls it.
Yeah, so
situation.
so Charlene starts like egging Robbie on, being like, "Hey, why don't you tell him what you did to the car?"
Yeah, because
And-
Robbie scratched up the new car.
Yeah, and Robbie's like freaking out, and then of course Baby is just like egging him on, like, "Yeah, tell him."
And we find out that Robbie also wrecked the car into the officer's motorcycle.
Yeah, which totally he just flips out at that point, and he's like, "Oh wait, did we also establish? I mean, we did establish, but I'm pretty sure when he revokes Fran's license, that's when we get the like unveiling that he's not an actual father.
Yeah,
he doesn't have kids of his own.
And then we have the conversation where Earl's talking about how he likes the manual because it's like a car manual. You got to learn from that. But Fran mentions like learning from your heart or whatever. So that's the black and white situation we're looking at so far. It's one versus the other. But yeah, so Turtlepuss pulls a gun on the kid. So guess what? He is a real cop.
Yeah. He is a real cop.
You can imagine if this was a real sitcom acted out by real people, and this is what happened in the episode: is the cop who's watching the kids pulls a gun on them and the baby. So more so the baby than either of them too. Like he wants to shoot the baby so bad.
Yeah, and then we also get like Fran and Earl are behind the yellow tape.
Yeah, the police tape that they have on the house.
Yeah.
So Fran has to step in. She scolds the kids and the officer who almost shot her kids. Specifically, the demon monster is what he calls the baby. Which we don't really see that much of that. Like when we had Roy as dad for a minute, we got to see a lot of the baby pissing him off, but we didn't really get as much of that with like there wasn't a lot of build up for that.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd hate Robbie and Charlene more because that's more who's been given the most guff so far.
Yeah, he's just a typical cop, and his next step, it's not de-escalation, it's just shoot. Shoot.
He's a real cop. He proved it today.
Yeah. And just like a real cop, he offers to just give back their license, and so all this will just go away.
Yeah, so bribing happens anyway because he's worried that he'll get fired if anyone finds out back at the station what he did.
Yeah.
And but he does offer Earl his gun before he leaves to shoot baby. He's like, "You sure you don't want this?" And Earl does mention that he's like, "Not that I haven't thought about it." But yeah, so Earl, after this happens, he like starts to realize like he's oh fuck, I was wrong, and he like goes on this whole thing like, all right, just like every time, Fran's right, Earl's wrong, or whatever. But instead, we get Fran to lay in with a nuance because she learned a little bit of something from this too.
Yeah, she realizes that she could use a manual, but also she could use from experience.
Yeah, which is essentially what Dr. Issa was just talking about with the whole like parents don't want to hear it from somebody else, but sometimes you don't just have all that perspective. We're not just born knowing how to be a parent. Especially our generation has like the most fucking confused parents of all time, I feel like. Where like they essentially I don't know, like you got to really take your parents with a grain of salt is what I've learned. So, yeah, but like they were trying their best, maybe could have tried harder, but I don't know what I'm doing. I would have had the same difficulty if I was raising kids in a like access to information world. And although they had access, just not in the same way. They just had like Dr. Lipschitz on the phone. They didn't have like couldn't just look up everything in the world.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah. Wikipedia Britannica.
Yes.
But yeah, so Fran brings in the nuance, and I was like, that's something you never see on TV. The 8 millionth meta joke about things on TV.
Yep.
But what we do get that's also not realistic is we get a mugshot of Officer Bettelheim after he gets in trouble for pulling the gun or whatever, and it's like this wouldn't happen. He wouldn't get suspended for that.
Oh, he's got the union behind him.
There's power in a union. There's white power in a union. As far as the police brotherhood goes.
He just got moved to a different department.
I shot a kid. Now I got a death job. He's Mark Wahlberg in that other guy's movie after he shoots Derek Jeter in the leg.
He's
death job.
He's Triceratops. That's what he is.
Triceratops. But yeah, they also run through mugshots of everybody else being found guilty for something throughout the episode. But that like Disney Plus kind of kills it by going straight to the next episode during that sequence.
I know. Actually, Issa was like, she's like, no, don't hit the button so it doesn't go to the next one because we didn't get to see the rest of the charges.
That's what happened to me too.
Yeah. But oh well.
But yeah, it was a good episode. It was fun.
Yeah, this was a good episode considering the last couple of episodes.
I feel like what was the last one? I don't remember now.
We did it was The Taste of Love. Oh wait, that was a good one.
That was a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll say the one before this was good. The one we did with V was it was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah, but this season it's like one good, one bad, one good, one bad for the most part. But it's pretty good season in general compared to overall quality so far.
Yeah, and the next one is great.
The next one I'm very excited for. It's one of the ones I remember from being a kid. Next week we're going to be doing season 3, episode 9, Charlene's Flat World.
Yeah,
which is written by Tim Doyle, so that's why it's good. it's pretty straightforward. But directed by Mark Broll, which I believe may have done a couple episodes. I don't remember for sure.
Yeah, he's not a regular name though.
Yeah, I think he's popped up before though. But yeah, that'll be a fun episode to do. That's the one we have like on a VHS. That one and one where they're stuck in quicksand, and I don't remember the rest of that one at all. But I remember watching these episodes and Charlene having to like, we'll talk about it next week. I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining us again here at Sinclarity, A Dinosaur's Tale.
Thank you so much.
It means the world to us.
I'm sorry. I'm tired.
Tim fell asleep during that sentence.
I drove a lot.
See, when you talk about this, I can't like sympathize because that's my entire day. Every day is driving. That's my job.
It used to be mine, but
yeah,
it now has become a chore.
It's definitely different when you get out of the car every 20 minutes to like go in a restaurant and get food and get back in than it is to do a straight shot somewhere.
And it's also worse on your car.
Oh yeah, for sure. I have coworkers who just leave their car on the whole shift, and they just like, but they have like cars where you can lock it while it's still running, and I don't, so I can't do that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can lock it while it's still running, but I can't get back into it. I've done that. I've done that a few times and had to get AAA. It's the worst.
Yeah. But
thanks to Jeremy Hunter from Scott Network for our theme song. You can check out the We Are the Union album and the Scott Network album. All great, all good, all perfect.
All great.
Thanks, Amy Shenanigans, for the beautiful portraits of Tim and I for the logo. I was talking to Chris yesterday, and I was saying something. I was like, "Well, me and Tim, blah blah blah." And then he like stopped me. He was like, "Tim and I," and I'm like, "Don't take my credit away." I realized he was being grammar police.
Uh-oh. Wee-oo.
Not a weeaboo.
No, he's not a weeaboo.
Yeah, I got arrested by the grammar police once, and I had to serve a run-on sentence. Anyway, thanks to Zach George. Thanks to Zach George for producing our podcast. Maybe not this episode, but every other episode. So
yeah, well, he's fat catting it on vacation.
Yeah,
from a job he doesn't have
in the luxurious Michigan. Big money Michigan boy.
Big money. What is he hanging out with ICP?
Yep, that's what he's up to up there. They're filming a Young Money. Like they already have
Big Money Hustlers.
Big Money Hustlers, Big Money Rustlers.
Yeah.
Big Money. I don't know what the next thing would be.
I don't know. My friend was watching that movie
Bustless.
the other day.
I have both of those on VHS. I'm very proud of it. But yeah, check out his podcast, Keystone Copcast with Chris and Zach. It's good. I like it.
They just finished their first season.
Yeah, and they just put out a bonus episode with my friend Sarah Davis on it, and it's great.
I haven't listened to it yet. Despite being in a car for multiple hours, I did not get to listen to it yet.
It's good. They discuss which is better out of Deep Impact and Armageddon. It's a fun listen. Armageddon being like the Mountain Dew of movies. It's a Michael
Bay movie.
They were talking about something about like Michael Bay, like if he couldn't do an explosion or something a certain way, he's like that just wouldn't make it.
You'd have to cancel the movie.
Yeah, he's like that's the whole point. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram and all that at A Dinosaur's Tale. You can email us at sinclaritypodcast@gmail.com and talk to us about whatever you want to. Yeah. Sorry that we didn't talk about ska this episode, but
but also thank you to Issa for
exactly. Thanks to
telling you how to raise your children.
Yes, exactly. Thanks. We'll have more segments of maybe why don't you shut the F up with Issa.
And remember to teach your kids to curse.
Yeah, for sure. Make your kids funny.
And send them to school.
But yeah, we'll see you next week with our Flat Earther episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have an actual flat earther on the show.
Shaquille O'Neal's gonna be on the show.
No, it's B.O.B.
B.O.B. If airplanes were just wait, he has a song about airplanes, but I don't know if he believes in them.
Exactly. That doesn't make any sense.
Fucking asshole. Just stick to what he does best, which is writing songs with Rivers Cuomo. Yeah, thank you, Bottom of Bascart. We'll see y'all next week.
Goodbye.
Have a great extinction.